Caucus regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Lavallette for Monday, April 5th, 2021 will come to order. Please call the roll.
Councilman Borowski.
Here.
Councilman Lamb.
Here.
Councilman Stockdale.
Here.
Councilman Victor.
Here.
Councilman Bilko.
Here.
Council President Zalome had asked for an excused absence. Please read the Open Public Meetings Act statement.
Due to the coronavirus pandemic, this meeting has been closed to the public physically and is being live streamed via Zoom. Any comments from the public that are received via email no later than 4 p.m. by the municipal clerk will be read and discussed by Mayor and Council at the council during public comment period. Notice of this remote meeting was posted on our website with instructions on how to connect to this meeting.
I'll now read my normal disclaimer. During the public comments part of the meeting, if you would like to speak, please click raise hand button and we will be notified of your request to talk. The mayor will recognize you and your microphone will be unmuted to allow you to speak. Once you have completed speaking, your mic will be remuted. For security reasons, we cannot recognize anyone who is listed as anonymous or a phone number that is not identified. When you are recognized and unmuted, you must first state your name and address before saying anything or asking any questions. Failure to do so may result in your being muted and or disconnected. On computers, the raise hand button can be found in the webinar controls section, typically at the bottom of your screen. If you raise your hand by accident, please feel free to lower your hand. If you're only joining by dialing in, you can simply dial *9 and toggle between raise hand and lower hand. On mobile devices, the raise hand and lower hand buttons are typically found in the lower left corner of the screen. This meeting will also be live streamed on YouTube. There is roughly a 20-second delay in the process. YouTube chat will no longer be used for public commenting. At this time, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence. Only local resident that we're aware of is Ruth DeLeo from New Jersey Avenue, who passed away since our last meeting. You may also obviously consider your own personal thoughts during that moment of silence, after which I will ask Councilman Stockdale to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
We also remember the Capitol policeman that got killed the other
Absolutely. Capitol Police officer killed
day. Thank you.
last week. Thank you for that, Dave.
All rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. We still look forward to seeing you in person here one of these days. Restrictions continue to be lessened and lifted. Restaurants are at 50% capacity. I saw the Crabs Club looked like it was doing pretty well over the weekend. So Mike's got some good news on badge sales. Things are moving along. We did get notification from the DEP regarding the beach amaranth. I'm not sure if everybody saw that in your boxes this week, but apparently there are some locations in town that have this endangered plant, and we've got some questions as to what we can do as far as beach manicuring is concerned. Seaside Heights got into some trouble with the DEP a couple weeks ago when they started to do their beach manicuring. So we want to make sure. We have not yet begun doing that up there yet, Mr. Bryce?
No, we're looking probably toward the end of the month, but we are tied in with DEP to make sure that it came down from the U.S. Department of Interior, the initial notification about the hemorrhage. So we're going to make sure that the notification from them is in line with what the DEP is telling us, is in line with what our general permit allows, so that we're not all three at once before we can move that green of sand.
Excellent. All right. Mr. Bryce has been in contact with our pickleball renovation company. They're waiting for a little bit of warmer weather before they can begin that, but as soon as possible, that work will commence and we'll have that open for our pickleball players who are quite numerous here in the borough. All right. That being said, we have approval of the minutes, caucus regular meeting of March 8th, 2021, and the regular meeting of March 22nd, 2021.
So moved.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski.
Yes.
Councilman Bilko.
Yes.
Councilman Stockdale.
Yes.
Councilman Victor.
Yes.
Councilman Lamb.
Yes.
That motion is approved. Up next, reports. Mrs. Filippone, as usual, has construction, zoning, municipal court, police overtime.
Yes, I have several, Mayor, thank you. Construction for March 2021, 68 permits were issued for a total revenue of $39,568, $250 in penalties, minus $1,596 to the DCA, leaving us with $38,222. If you look at the breakdown, we've had several brand-new houses going up. They generate a lot of money, $7,000, $8,000 in permits. So that covers a lot of it. But anyway, breaking it down by discipline, 16,732 building, 9,045 electric, 6,585 plumbing, 3,500 mechanical, 2,100 fire. Inspections, 118 building, 72 electric, 42 plumbing, 21 mechanical and non-fire, 4 certificates of occupancy, 39 certificates of approval, and the 1 penalty. I don't have a zoning report. Police report, I have February and March. In February, the overtime was 69 hours, which represents 22.6 hours fewer than the year before, the prior year, same month. And in April, actually March overtime for 2021 was 131 hours. That's up 38 and a half hours. When you break it all down in total, let me just go to this page. I don't have the summary. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if it's here. He usually tells you the running total for the year. As of February, we were 93.5 over the previous year, but then you have to minus out the 22.5, I think, if I have it right. Well, anyway, it's about 93 hours over in overtime. We have had, I think I mentioned at the last meeting, we've had a few officers who have some residual COVID-related issues that have kept them out for their own safety. I think one is back, but I don't think the other one is. So that we have to cover them. I also know that I think we're okay now, but about a week ago, we were very short on applicants for our specials. A little concerned about that. I think we've caught up, and I think we have the appropriate number going into the training that they will need at this point in time. Doesn't seem that people are anxious to go to work.
Yeah, I was told about that. I found it shocking because we usually get a lot of applicants, many more than we actually need. And this year was down. I don't know whether it's the anti-police attitude and, the general
It's not just
population.
Lavalette, apparently, it's all the communities.
I can't say I blame them. But it doesn't bode well for the future of law enforcement if they continue to shy away
Money to
from
get into.
Yeah.
The stimulus checks.
Municipal court report for March 2021. There was 1 special complaint, which unfortunately I can't describe. I have no idea what that special complaint was. And 14 traffic violations totaling 15 tickets. Our revenue in the court for 2021 is down still over $7,659.59. And I do think once we get this other stuff all settled, we need to really take a serious look at that. If this room isn't going to open, I don't know that we need as much court service as we currently support. So that'll see. And that's all. I don't have any of the others.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Bob, you got a public works
Well,
report?
the only thing I'd like to mention, Mayor, is the last 2 days or this past weekend, we had water was way up. So I'm really looking forward to getting that well free repaired because we went through 500,000 gallons in a 2-day period. Normal is about 200,000 gallons. So you can see the amount of water is being used in this town, and it's busy. This past weekend was very, very busy around here. Beach, boardwalk.
Well, we did get the bids on that. I saw those in my box. I'm not sure we're prepared to talk about that today.
We have to wait for Stoffel, and then we can award them on the 19th.
Yeah, so they'll be awarded on the 19th, so
Yeah,
we'll
that'd
be
be great.
moving on that. A little higher than we estimated from the engineers, but
It's a deeper well.
yeah, it's a deeper well. Okay.
So the spot priming taking place on the water tower.
Yeah, that too. They sanded and they grinded the areas there that were very rusty. So they've been done, and now we're, I guess, ready to go for painting. Was that supposed to be done soon, I think, right? And hopefully they can match the paint. It's the same paint, but it's had a year or two to
Fade.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Anything with that when they think they're going to get to the painting?
They were still doing the priming and the grinding today. I think they're on the far side. I don't know if they have another day or two of that.
Okay.
Or, I think the whole thing, they didn't expect to be more than a 2-week project. Last week, I think they only got 1 or 2 days in due to the weather and the wind. So today was the day they really did the most amount of work. So I think by the end of next week, we should be painted, weather permitting.
Okay. Anita's not here for her public affairs report. Did she leave messages with anyone?
It's, the only thing we have is beach sweep on the 17th, 9 o'clock on Philadelphia Avenue. You'll have to bring your own food or coffee if you like, because we're still not allowed to pass out food. But the Dunkin' Donuts in town will be giving gift cards to the people that participate. So, which is a nice thing, and thank you, Dunkin' Donuts.
Thank you, Dave. We also have the tax account report for March of 2021 and the revenue transaction report for February of 2021. And I will accept a motion on the report.
So moved.
Second,
A roll call, please.
Councilman Geralski?
Yes.
Councilman Phillips?
Yes.
Councilman Concho?
Yes.
Councilman Fisher?
yes,
Councilman Lamb?
Yes.
And that motion is approved. That takes us to the consent agenda. I will read by number, accepting council comments along the way. At the conclusion, I'll accept the motion and then take the vote. Number 107, approving a facilities use application to Yakety Yak Kayaks to utilize the Bay Beach near Vance Avenue daily from May 15th through September 30th at various times between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for drop-offs and pickups of kayaks and paddleboards for Bay from the Bay after use. And that is an annual thing. He's been doing that for several years. 108, amending the 2021 temporary budget amount of $40,000. Mr. Bryce, why do we need to do that?
Most of that would be for the pickleball courts and then some other salary adjustments that we have there as well.
Okay. 109, approving a facilities use application to Noel Dwyer to hold meditation yoga classes on President Avenue, Ocean Beach, every other Sunday, starting June 13th through August 15th, from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Is she a repeater?
Yes.
Number 110, approving the hiring of a part-time temporary fill-in electrical inspector on an as-needed basis at an hourly rate of $35, effective April 15th, 2021.
April 15th, mine says April 5th.
April 5th, I'm sorry, you're right. Thank you. April 5th. Number 111, approving a facilities use application to Levellet School PTO to hold a dance and silent auction at Chandler Field on Friday, June 4th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. with a rain date of Saturday, June 5th. Number 112, proclaiming April 6th, 2021 as National Service Recognition Day and the week of April 18th through April 24th as National Volunteer Week. Number 113, approving a facilities use application to Team Hill Foundation to hold basketball hoop instruction at the basketball courts Mondays through Thursdays in May and June, September and October from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and in July and August, 9 a.m. to noon. And 114, 113 Team Hill Foundation is a repeat.
Yes.
Donnelly. 114, approving a facilities use application to K-Rock Fitness to hold fitness circuit training classes on the basketball courts on Tuesdays and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., starting June 12th through September 4th. Is that a new one?
that one I had a little.
Mayor, I actually
concern
have
with.
comments about 113 and
Yes.
114.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Okay, on 113, I know we had issues with them last year. Initially, it was because they did not put an application in, then they did put an application in. But I want to clarify, I think we had some issues with the crowd, possibly parking on Bay Boulevard. Does anybody else remember some of the issues we had? And is there anything that we want to do to clarify?
Well, just remind them that there's no parking allowed on Bay Boulevard in that location. And if they're going to park in the lot during the season, they're going to need permits.
Yeah, I think that was one issue you came upon one night where it was,
It just seems to me that this is really taking up a lot of.
The basketball courts between the two events.
Yeah.
We also, next meeting, there's another one that wants to do basketball too on the court.
that will be a conflict with some of these times, though. It will conflict with this guy's times.
Are they collecting money for all these?
He did turn in his 10% proceeds from last year. Team help. I don't put them on unless we have their proceeds.
From the previous year.
Do you recall approximately what that was?
I believe it's approximately $750.
I think we need to take a look at that. Our facilities are being used, we're giving it away. They're making big money. They're not making small money.
Yeah.
This drew quite a crowd last year.
And we only got $750 out of
And
it.
we came across it. Every time, I remember a couple of us came across it, and it was, a pretty large crowd there.
Maybe we should remove it and discuss it at the next meeting.
He's been a Division I NCAA head basketball coach at Rutgers. He's
Why did he pick Lavalette?
Lives in Antelope.
lives in Antelope.
And they have no courts between here and Maniloka.
So what I was told, he likes the facility, walks along
Yeah.
Bay Boulevard, Lavalette.
And parking.
Don't we all?
I looked up the address that he put on last year's application there. I believe it came back with the old Thunderbird. That was the address, that
Mhm.
business address.
All right, you want to make a motion to table this until the next meeting, Ms. Philippone? Is that what you were requesting?
Well, we can't change our fee schedule at this point in
No.
time, but I think it's something we definitely
We can
positively.
adjust the amount of times he uses it, though.
Well, we can. I mean, my concern is in the summer months, every morning,
3 days a week. Or 3 to 4 days a week.
well, that's
Mondays and Thursdays.
Monday through Thursday, that's 4 days a week from 9 to 12, all summer long.
And those courts are always busy with just people wanting to play,
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's a pretty active,
We're limiting
facility.
the
He wants to do
free
3
play
PM
of
to 6 PM
basketball.
too.
That's not in, that's the other one.
Yeah.
9 to 12.
Well, May, June. We still got a lot of kids down here. They've been playing all winter,
Yeah.
you know.
Mr. George,
Yes, Your Honor.
do we need a basis for denying?
You should say, it state a basis for denying the application. However, if you take this conversation in context of discussion that's been at virtually every meeting, there is an ongoing concern that the space is used up to the excess where local residents are denied free and open time. In addition, one thing that has only been mentioned once or twice is the utilization of municipal facilities such as DPW workers and equipment to maintain it. And therefore, this application could be denied on the basis of the encroachment on free time, which is, of course, part and parcel of your public access as well as your recreational ordinances.
Yeah, it seems to me like those evening hours in particular in the summer when those courts would probably be getting the most
The evening hours,
private use.
the evening hours are essentially out of season because they're May and June
Yeah.
and September and October from 3 to 6.
Mm.
But in season from 9 to 12, every 4 days a week, that's
Yeah,
the hours
that's a lot.
before it gets
That's-
really, really hot.
Yeah, I think that's taken up a lot of time
A
myself.
lot of people play basketball in the morning because it isn't hot,
Right.
you know. So
It's not quite as hot. But then as Councilman Stogdill mentions, if the guy's a professional coach, the benefit to the kids to actually learn, get some instruction on proper play and
But are they our kids?
who knows?
I think they're from out of town. And I wonder how much he actually participates in this as opposed to putting his
Name,
name on the.
right.
monitor
Yeah.
And bringing in, some college students, the basketball players that. He's not actively coaching, so he doesn't have any.
Well, here's my question.
He is there. I think he does.
He was there last year.
Here's my question. If we chart, and I'm not suggesting this, it's just to throw out food for thought. If we were charging 25% or 35%, would they be offering this many hours? Would they need, you know? would
I
be
find
the
it hard to
same?
believe with the amount of time they used it up last year that we only netted $750 from them. That seems awfully low to me.
Well, it's not necessarily.
Given the number of participants that he has and the number of days, he must be
but
giving
it's
it
all-
away.
It would be all one group. It's not that he has a
One
group.
activity down there was a rec league, if I recall, that a lot of the parking problems were with that as well. That's what I recall.
No, that turned out to be them.
Oh, was that then? Because I know there was a rec league that was down
That
there as
turned
well
out
that.
to be him. That's how he figured
a
out
lot
that
of
it
people
was
down there
extended
as well.
without the application.
One other issue I had, where I would have with them is, I think as of last month, I was still cleaning up their signs throughout town, up on the beachheads and in the park. Their lawn signs they
Yeah.
put out, they never cleaned any of them up. And they're-
Ample reason to deny.
Mr. George, would like to comment on the.
Yes, Mr. George.
Yes, Your Honor. With regard to the question of fees, I'd just point out as well that in discussions with the borough administrator and over the past meetings and the same discussions last summer, that the amount taken in by some of these organizations under the ordinance does not meet the amount that the borough has been expending for the maintenance, for the security, and also for the occasional redoing a part and parcel of it to make sure it's patched and it's safe. Just want to make sure that those considerations are part of the record, same as the equation that the state requires us to do for maintenance of the beaches, that it has to support itself but not be an excess profit maker.
Mr. George, would it be possible in the future to not only take a percentage of their intake, but to charge some flat fee toward maintenance, cleanup, whatever, a list of municipal services that are included, and say maybe you pay $500 and then 10% of your or $1,000 and 10, whatever it may be. And I think the facility, I mean, if they're using the beach, the cost up there is a lot less than using the pickleball court or the basketball court, perhaps. And maybe you'd have to have a schedule, a fee schedule.
Absolutely, Councilwoman. I believe that especially if we looked at it with Ms. Searfield, we could find an operating sweet spot, if you want to call it that. There may be some types of activities that are less involved in municipal facilities than others. It may be appropriate to have that type of a schedule, or to institute a more fair flat fee that serves both the borough and the participants' needs.
I'm concerned with the amount of time that he intends to use it.
Can we get a financial statement from him for that?
I'm not even interested in the money. I'm interested in the time, like the
The
mayor just
timing,
said.
they got-
If our kids aren't able to play, go down there with a basketball because it's taken up by other groups, I think that's unfair. Not just the ones who live here year round, but our visitors too that grab a basketball and want to get together. Jim, I know your son plays, nightly. Imagine that he can't play because they have leagues down there. Even if we're getting a couple of dollars for it, it's just not.
It's not worth it.
It's not right to the rest of
And
it.
I'm sure there are other facilities. Maybe he could consider splitting his time between ours and some other towns.
Can we
Courts.
pull this for tonight and send it back to him and suggest he do one of two things? Reduce the number of days or reduce the number of hours per day. If you're going to do it 4 days a week, do it for 2 hours instead of 4, or for 1 hour instead of 3, or go for 2 days for the 4 hours instead of 4 days for the 4 hours, or whatever. I mean, I don't know what's best.
I also think that you guys really do need to relook at the 10% person.
I agree.
I have people calling constantly asking about the facilities use application to do more yoga, to do more fitness,
Mm.
to do more basketball. I mean, the field. I think you're right. I think they are definitely getting away with it.
Yeah.
For them cheap.
Mr. George, we need a motion to table this, or what's the proper procedure to put this off till the next meeting?
I need a motion to table, Your Honor.
So moved.
Second.
Quick comment.
Yes, Michael.
There was the mention of how many of our local kids are participating in this. And I agree that we should table this, but with that being said, I was involved in running the recreation baseball league for 10 years down here. And to get local kids to join a league and participate was the most difficult thing in the world to do. It really was. I mean, if we didn't have the out-of-town kids, that league would have been. And not just La Valette, just the island in general. I mean, it's just, there is no participation.
And
Very few. If I'd say out of 5 kids, you'd be lucky to get 1 out of every 5.
all right, so
The table.
we have a motion and a second to table, and roll call on that, please.
Councilman Brownski,
Yes.
Councilman Bilko,
Yes.
Councilman Stockdale,
Yes.
Councilman Pinter,
Yes.
Councilman Lamb.
Yes.
And that motion is approved, and that takes us to 114, which is related.
Mayor, going back to 113, what
Yes,
would you
sir.
like me to bring up with that gentleman about the modifying the hours and the dates, or?
Yeah, he's got to cut back the amount of pressure he wants to put on that schedule. Half.
Are we gonna encourage it to have every week though? This is May through the end of October, every week.
Well, I think we can all have a discussion with Mr. Bryce and let him know our feelings, and it'll come back before us, and we'll have another discussion and decide at that point what
They
we're going to
skipped
do.
July and August.
July and August
No,
is in the
July and
morning.
No,
August.
no,
is
I'm
covered
sorry.
In the
That's
morning.
The 9th to 12th. Okay.
Either cut
Mayor,
the
with
days or cut
114?
the hours.
Yes,
This conflicts with our borough's recreation program that's up there held by Mary Walls.
mhm.
It would be the same exact times that she's using that court.
114 you're talking
Yes.
about, Mr.
Yes, on
Bryce?
114, it's
Okay, thank you.
K-Rock Fitness.
Yeah.
We had, keep in mind, we had a little bit of a discrepancy last year between, Mr. Daly, who financed the courts as far as having the borough's recreation program on there as well for that 1 hour in the morning. I think clearly to add another program there, particularly at the same time, that's not going to
But
work. But
Is there any reason why he's chosen that location? I mean, we have those other basketball
So-
courts
the
that are
one that
not
they're
being used.
selected though, according to their application, is not the Daily Court. It's the one over by the bay.
no, it says the front court,
No, it says the bay, the court closest to the bay.
the Bay
At least
Boulevard.
that-
or Bay?
huh?
Hold on, we have to read that again because I thought maybe it
I
was
read
Bay
it
Boulevard.
twice and I'm going, because
Okay.
I had concerns because it's a new court and they're using dumbbells.
Yeah.
And we don't want to damage the new court
Absolutely not.
where we don't want to.
The old court's not being used. I
Yeah.
wouldn't object to him being over there.
That's our recreation.
Mary's on the daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was, according to the application, is the court closest to the bay.
Is she, because Mary used to be on the old courts too. She's on the new courts.
She likes the new courts better. We had that conflict last year.
I mean, is fitness circuit training exactly aerobics?
Of course, that's just-
I have no idea.
Mary Walls does aerobics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is circuit training.
It's more.
I'm not sure what that is, and barbells and all that.
Okay,
That,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you drop weights on.
okay, here's her
court.
description. Basketball courts closest to Bay, off Bay Boulevard. That's why I saw Bay Boulevard. I thought
So
she
if
said-
she's looking at the old
She is looking
courts,
to the old courts. So that
Okay.
would,
so
they'd be
we,
going the same time, but they wouldn't. be-
yeah, that's fine, as
Right.
long as it's on the old
And
courts,
different kinds of.
which are being
We'll
underutilized.
clarify that.
Make sure they're aware which courts they're being approved for.
What is
Yeah.
hers for children? Is that why the K-Rock? Is that?
I think it's for a younger crowd of.
So we want to make that one with the stipulation that it is the old courts closest to the water.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Mary has her like music and she shouts.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right here.
Yeah.
And this lady, I will play music from a Bluetooth speaker only loud enough for participants to hear.
That's what Mary has too. So
Yeah.
Mary's, I can hear Mary from the bedroom. She wakes me
So
up.
Well,
then
they
they'll
should
have
both
a
play the
little,
same music.
we'll sell tickets to the big rumble.
Yeah. West Side Story.
Hour after Mary,
Okay.
if you guys don't want to hear them.
Yeah.
Instead of 8
I
to 9.
don't know. I think it's better off just to get it out of the way as quickly as possible. No, Bob?
I don't know. I don't know. Mary's got her music going. man.
That's their problem.
Okay.
To be honest, those courts are either gonna get used first thing in the morning or late at night. You don't get any middle of the day. Very few people middle of the day in summer play basketball.
Yeah.
That's 7 or later or up until about 9, 10 o'clock. That's when it ends because it's too hot.
So what do we want to leave that one on consent and approve, or
Well, if they, when Bob clarifies that they
with
are
stipulation?
stipulation, we can probably approve it with the stipulation, that's all.
All right, then we have the consent agenda number 107 through 114 minus number 113.
So moved.
What's the stipulation that she is in the other location or?
She's in the
on the old
location
court.
closest to the water on the old tennis, old basketball courts.
I'm glad we didn't take them down.
We'll be paving again.
Okay, motion?
Somebody made a motion.
I made it.
Was there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski?
Yes.
Councilman Pilson?
Yes.
Councilman Southgate?
Yes.
Councilman Pinter?
Yes.
Councilman Lang?
Yes.
Motion is approved. Resolutions off consent is number 115, the bills list, the amount of $1,395,725.42.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski?
Yes.
Councilman Pilson?
Yes.
Councilman Southgate?
Yes.
Councilman Pinter?
Yes.
Councilman Lang?
Yes.
Motion is approved. Ordinance on for introduction, first reading is ordinance number 2021-06, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap bank. This is an ordinance that we pass every single year. Should we come under the 2% that's allowed by state law, we can take the difference and put it into a cap bank. In the unlikely event that we should need to exceed the 2%, we can go in to the cap bank to make up the difference. We have never utilized the cap bank. So it's just procedural, just in case we do for some unforeseen disaster.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski?
Yes.
Councilman Pilson?
Yes.
Councilman Southgate?
Yes.
Councilman Pinter?
Yes.
Councilman Lang?
Yes.
And that motion is approved. Public hearing and final adoption is scheduled for April 19, 2021. Ordinance on for public hearing and final adoption. Ordinance number 2021-04, ordinance of the Borough of Lavallette, amending, revising, and supplementing Chapter 55B of the Lavallette Borough Code entitled Stormwater Management in its entirety, and replacing said Chapter 55B with a new 55B entitled Stormwater Management. As discussed at the last meeting, the state has recommended that we adopt certain changes to the stormwater management chapter, much of it which does not apply to the Borough of Lavallette. Nonetheless, council, our attorneys thought was that it's best to just replace in its entirety and leave the language in that the state wants that'll have no effect on us. So we did introduce it last time, so this would be public hearing upon it.
So moved.
Second. Matt? I doubt they'll be in. Roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski?
Yes.
Councilman Pilson?
Yes.
Councilman Southgate?
Yes.
Councilman Pinter?
Yes.
Councilman Lang?
Yes.
And that motion is approved. Now we have introduction of the 2021 budget. Donnelly, could you read the budget resolution, please?
Ms. Bryce.
Okay, Mr. Bryce. Says clerk.
I know.
Mr. Bryce.
Lavallette 2021 introduced budget overview. Borough of Lavallette will introduce for governing provide consideration on April 5th, 2021, a total budget appropriation of $9,425,493 and are under the allowable expenditure appropriation cap by $317,163. The current fund budget appropriations. 2021 budget appropriations have increased by $195,948,000 or 2.12% from 2020 budget appropriations as amended. The largest 2021 appropriation increases or decreases from 2020 are as follows. Beach and boardwalk salaries and wages, an increase of 15.58%. Police salaries and wages, an increase of 4.11%. Boardwalk improvements, an increase of 100%. Police and firemen retirement system of New Jersey, an increase of 10.28%.
Oh, sorry. Beach and boardwalk other expenses, an increase of 63.81%. Public Works, salaries and wages, an increase of 2.57%. Buildings and grounds, other expenses, an increase of 28.57%. Employee group health insurance, an increase of 1.57%. Police, other expenses, an increase of 9.06%. Public Works, other expenses, an increase of 55.75%. Payment on bond anticipation notes, a decrease of 30%. Grant related, a decrease of 80.4%. Interest on notes, a decrease of 60%. The total 2021 introduced budget, $9,425,493. The current fund budget summary, as detailed in the following table, decreases in 2021 miscellaneous revenues of $48,744 and increases in 2021 current fund budget appropriations of $195,948,000 are offset by increases in anticipated surplus of $170,000, anticipated delinquent taxes of $35,795, and the amount to be raised by local taxes of $38,897. The total surplus anticipated for 2021 to be used would be $1,770,000. The miscellaneous revenues to be used are $1,402,352. The delinquent taxes are $162,500. The amount to be raised by local taxes is $6,090,641 for total general revenues of $9,425,493. It's an increase of $195,948 over 2020. The analysis of the 2021 local municipal tax rate. The amount to be raised by local taxes to support the 2021 introduced budget will be $6,090,641, and an increase of $38,897 or 0.64% over the 2020 level. In 2020, the amount to be raised by local taxes increased by $95,771 or 1.61% over the 2019 level. The average residential assessment in 2021 will be $879,971, an increase of $3,727 over the 2020 average residential assessment of $876,244. The local amount of taxes to be raised in 2020, again, $6,090,641. The net valuation taxable is $2,379,364,300. The local tax rate is 0.256%. The local tax rate change over the year is 1/10 of a cent, 0.001. The percentage change from the prior year is 0.39%. If local taxes were assessed at the average assessment of $875,000. It would be a percentage change, or it would be a dollar change of $8.75 per household assessed at $875,000, which is a percentage change of 0.39%. The average bill would be $2,240. If local taxes were assessed at the average residential assessment of need a drink of water here. Stress again. If local taxes were assessed at the average residential assessment of $879,971 in 2021 and $876,244 in 2020, it would be a $2,252.73 comparison to $2,234.42, which would be an $18.31 change over the prior year, or 0.82%. Utility budgets. The boroughs introduced 2021 and adopted 2021 utility budgets summarized are as follows. The water budget, $1,064,650. The sewer budget, $1,667,900. The electric budget, $3,272,700. Capital budget. The introduced capital budget of $8,345,000 includes planned 2021 capital projects for road improvements, the purchase of equipment and/or vehicles for various borough departments and the electric utility, public works building renovations, improvements to the boardwalk, living shoreline, water system and well upgrades, improvements to the sewer system, and refunding of general improvement refunding bonds. The planned 2021 capital projects will be funded by the issuance of bonds and/or notes, the borough's capital improvement funds and grants. In addition, the borough's capital program includes planned projects to be undertaken in 2022 and/or 2023 for road improvements, purchase of equipment and/or vehicles for various borough departments, improvements to the boardwalk, the installation of a new water well, and well upgrades. Public hearing. The borough will be hosting a meeting to conduct a public hearing and further discussion of the introduced 2021 operating, utility, and capital budgets on May 3rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. Due to health emergency from the COVID-19 virus, the meeting will be conducted electronically and/or by telephonic means. The link to access and participate in the meeting will be posted in the borough's website, www.lavalette.org. Additionally, we will also have a website that's set up immediately for budget input. It is budgetcomments@lavalette.org. That's budgetcomments@lavalette.org, and there'll be a link to that from our website as well. If someone would like to comment ahead of time or ask a question, they can do so by sending an email to that address, or they can sign on the evening of the meeting and comment live as well. There's two options for them to do that. That is it, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Bryce. I appreciate the work that you put in with our CFO. Obviously, Lavalette is in very good fiscal condition. 1/10 of 1 cent is the proposed increase, which is not a lot. You know, we're talking $8 per household nonetheless.
Mayor, is it possible that we can find this little bit of money rather than increase it at all? My understanding is that the neighboring communities, including the county, are coming in with flat budgets. Tom's River already announced a flat budget. We're talking about 1/10 of a cent, $8 per household. We got to be able to, what's the funding of the 1/10%? $25,000 to $35,000?
What is the number, Mr. Bryce, that we're looking for? $25,000.
I think we can find $25,000 someplace and flatten this budget out.
Additionally, Mayor, at some point, the money that's going to be allocated from the CARES Act
Correct.
is going to be received by the municipality. And there's some mechanisms that hasn't really been fully vetted and determined how we can insert that into the budget. But I I feel pretty confident that the reason that they're going to have that outlay is so that we can keep our tax rate.
So where that'll probably most advantageous to us is with what we have in the capital plan, those projects. Just so everyone knows, nothing came from the Department of the Treasury yet as far as guidance on what you can spend that money on. However, a couple things trickled down this week as far as guidelines. The money has to be used by December 31st, 2024, and we're receiving it in 2 payments, 50% in calendar year 21, 50% in calendar year 2022. So we can use it on what we're anticipating we can use it on, since most likely it will be for utility type projects, is some of those utility projects that we have on the capital plan, so that basically we don't have to go out to bond on those things. When that does come to fruition, we get that money, we'll be able to fund those programs without having to go to bond. That's where we see the real.
Mr. Bryce, is there an indication that that money has to be used on a capital project? I thought it just had to be used on COVID-related expenses of various sorts.
That changed. That was the old CARES Act, what you're talking about, with the COVID related. And again, nothing's come forth.
I
But
understand.
the things that we're thinking, or the state and the League of Municipalities are indicating, is that they think that utility type projects and infrastructure projects will be at the top of the list of things that you can spend it on.
Well, we have a number of those on the books. I just think that we can find $25,000 someplace.
Mr. Bryce, will we have to reintroduce this, or is this change not significant enough to trigger a reintroduction?
So we'll have to run through the auditor, because there are certain areas that if there is a change in certain areas, it will trigger it. Other than that, it looks like a 5% change. And again, that's in certain areas or overall that would trigger it. So we will work with the auditor.
So we can find it from someplace that won't
Yeah, we
trigger a
can
reintroduction.
certainly.
Spread it out a little bit here and a little bit there.
Phil, your comments on that? Any comments?
Your Mayor, members of council, just 2 general comments with regard to Mr. Bryce's comments about the current version of the federal aid package that was passed. The one thing that we're seeing in all of the comments from the league and also in the Municipal Attorneys Association is that it can't be used specifically for tax reduction. However, as Mr. Bryce said, it appears that it's going to target infrastructure and capital projects so that that money is trickled down not only through the borough, because administrative costs can be assessed against it, but also to put the money in the general public by letting contracts.
Okay,
What about reintroduction?
but we won't have to reintroduce, as Mr. Bryce said, you're in agreement with that? More than likely, we will not have to.
I agree, Mr. Mayor. I believe that the selection of categories would be rather carefully monitored to make sure it does not trip into one of the specific areas where we would have to reintroduce.
Thank you. Dave, any comments?
No, I think with a $3 million budget, we should be able to find 25,000 pretty easily.
It's a $9 million budget.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it should make it even easier.
Yes, it should make it even easier. I'm sorry.
Michael, any comments?
No, because I think it's a lot of hard work by the CFO and the administrator and all our department heads and us up here. I think it's a solid budget, and finding the 25,000, I think we'll be able to do that.
Well,
No, I'm in agreement. I think we can do that. Take a look at it.
all right. So we are going to take a motion to introduce.
I'll make the motion to introduce with a recommendation that we seek the $25,000 to bring it in at zero.
How about you require?
What?
How about you require the reduction?
Oh, I require reduction
I'll
of the, that's fine.
second that motion.
The penny, 1/10 of a penny increase.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Borough?
Yes.
Councilman Philpott?
Yes.
Councilman Stockton?
Yes.
Councilman Pinto?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
And that motion is approved. Public hearing and final adoption scheduled for May 3rd, 2021. As Mr. Bryce indicated earlier, that there is public participation in various forms available if you check the website. Okay, that takes us to old business. We have fireworks on. We had a discussion at the last meeting about changing the date. And Anita was able to convince the band to
Wilbur.
change Wilbur Whitman to move to Saturday. Donnelly, you have an update, or Bob, you got an update on what's?
We run into problems.
Snafu.
That whole weekend at all.
I was kind of shocked to hear that they would be able to do it on a Saturday.
Garden State can't do it at all on the 4th anymore, but they can offer the 3rd, fit us in. I don't know what that means, but they said they would do a courtesy to fit us in. But then fireworks extravaganza, we talked to them. I also asked for quotes and proposals from 6 different firework companies, and I got the same exact answer back. No, we won't come out for this weekend for nothing less than $15,000.
No, thank you.
So is that what you're anticipating Garden State to be at, somewhere near that?
Garden State said they do it for 10, however, they said that they would fit us in. Now, I don't know what that means, and it makes me a little nervous. They'll fit us in. What does that mean? Fireworks extravaganza, we talked to John Segaria, and he said, even though he would love to do it for that weekend, he's just got too many bigger shows. But he did say that he would do it for us on July 10th or July 11th, following weekend, for the $10,000.
So we've already modified the calendar, which came out, by the way. Those photographs are from my brother-in-law.
They're really nice.
They came out very well. So it's already printed and notice is already out there that it's the 3rd. There's a possibility that we might get Garden State in at that number of 10,000?
No, it was never Matt couldn't change it for the 3rd.
Oh, you didn't
No,
change
it's
it?
July 4th still. He couldn't get it in.
Oh, I thought you got it in just under the wire. Okay, so it's wrong no matter what we do. It's
Right.
April Fools.
I mean, we've changed things before. People, I mean, we send out the weekly,
Right. So really,
event calendars and everything. I mean,
Why don't we
there's
just
really
go?
nothing that.
so why don't we continue to pursue Garden State and find out what their number will be, and then we can decide if they can do it on the 3rd.
Well, the number is 10,000.
It is 10,000.
It is.
And what were the other quotes that we got? Were we anticipating 10,000 as the cost of this?
Yes, that was our new budget for this year.
We just got to see
However,
what they can provide. Are they going to provide the usual show?
Can we
Or is it gonna
zero
be
in
an
on
abbreviated
what,
show?
We've got
this
time.
thing kind of
We're not
means?
trying to meet a deadline on a calendar. That's been,
No, we definitely need
Missed.
to meet the deadline.
So just,
We need to hire somebody.
by
yeah,
this week?
If preferably, because the dates are not going to stay.
So
Like,
Garden State has provided
Garden
us,
State, I mean, I can't guarantee that it's going to be available and.
When you
Right.
call them tomorrow.
so just to remind you, the one issue we had with Garden State in the past when we used them was with the fire marshal, with a lot of the blowback,
right?
the angle that they were shooting them. When we did hire Fireworks Extravaganza, those problems seemed to disappear.
He just needs to need a lot more time.
And we had compliments about Fireworks Extravaganza's show appearing to have more fireworks.
Would it be a big issue just to move it to the 10th? Or we're already
Since the
moving it
date's
once.
wrong in the calendar anyway, I don't think it's an issue either way.
And if we can get a better
Price,
Uh,
better.
price and,
You think,
Everybody in this close proximity is bigger towns are all doing July 4th.
Why don't we leave it to Donnelly to lock it down on, you deal with these people all the time, Donnelly. Why don't you lock them down on, and, price is what,
Well, I-
10,000?
I think the debate right now, Bob, is do we shoot for Saturday, the 3rd with Garden State, who we've had issues with the fire marshal, or do we go back to Fireworks Extravaganza, who did apparently a better show last year?
Didn't we have the fire marshal here 2 years ago setting up with the new company
Yes.
because it was required because of the problems prior?
Yes.
So if the fire marshal comes while Garden State is setting up, aren't they going to monitor? I mean, they're the experts.
Yeah, the other issue we have with the third, when we had it on that actual fourth weekend a few years ago, the police couldn't muster up enough manpower, and the crowd that we got kind of overwhelmed the staff that we had on that. If you remember that?
The concern also is that, we're not getting any applications for specials either.
He has enough. I spoke to the chief. He has enough, is what he told me.
Okay, well,
Why
then
don't we
we're
just
only
do it for
gonna
the
have
10th?
Garden State, and if
You know,
that's what you guys want,
there was a big
Let's-
We
Big
have to see.
disappointment this past year because it was because of COVID, not because of us.
Yeah.
You're talking about now a second year in a row with no fireworks on the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, but we usually have, 4th of July never falls on the weekend.
But we haven't-
The year before was on the 7th, so it's not even like,
Well, it's always the Saturday closest to the 4th. And when it's, the 4th is on the, it's always the Sunday closest to the 4th. Depending where the calendar is. And when the day, the 4th is the Sunday, in the past, going back years, it's right on the 4th. This competition with the companies is, we've never had, I don't remember the last time it was right on the 4th itself,
Well,
but
4th of July is one of the big weekends as far as population here in town. We get Memorial Day to 4th of July, and Labor Day weekends are absolutely ridiculous. So,
Yeah, but if we move it to the
10th.
the 10th, which is the following weekend, most of the people that are down on vacation are still going to be here.
yeah, but we won't see that huge crowd that we would normally see on a weekend, so it'd be easier to manage.
There you go.
But we should stick with the fireworks
have we-
company that gave us,
Yeah.
safety wise, that
Have
we didn't
we-
have a problem
it
with.
was, but I believe the safety wise was because, not just because the company was a different company. The fire marshal, himself or herself or their self, if it was a group, was there to monitor the setup before it even took place. It had to be approved in advance. Do you really think the fire marshal is going to let company XYZ do whatever they want, or are they going to be there to monitor as well?
They're going to be there to monitor. But
Mike,
Well, then-
what was your opinion, Michael? 10th?
Yeah, obviously it's better on the 3rd. I think that's the holiday weekend. That's, I think we all agree that would be the time if we have the budget. But the thing that concerns me about the 3rd the most is fitting us in. What does fitting us in mean?
is it
Does that
going to
mean
be,
starts at 7 o'clock before it gets dark, because that's when they can fit us in? Or
Yeah.
2:30 in the afternoon?
I think we should go for the 10th.
are they going to have the same kind of display as we had in years past? Or is it going to be abbreviated for
Little Roman
that
candles
amount
and
of
bottle
money?
rocket.
Right, if we get a better show on the 10th, then that becomes the optimal.
I think the 10th would be a
I'll go
better.
for the 10th.
I'm getting a feeling that it's the 10th. Does somebody want to make a motion for the 10th?
I'll make a motion that we do it on the 10th.
10,000. And we can do the rain, if it rains, we can do the rain day
The 11th.
the following Sunday, that Sunday, the 11th. So we could do it July 10th.
Can we get Wilbur to play?
Well, I think she already has another band booked for that weekend. She's got them through the whole season.
Even though that's a Saturday night though.
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
I'll ask her anyway.
Okay.
Because we can take away the
Saturday
3rd and
night.
put it on the 10th.
Oh, that's a Saturday night as well.
Yeah.
And we
We
got,
can do Sunday if you want, it doesn't matter, but.
we normally do Sunday.
Why don't we do the 11th with the band? That way we don't go and call Wilbur.
Right. No switch with Wilbur.
Yeah.
So the 11th is you're
Well, it
amending
is-
your motion
it
to
is
the
a
I'll
11th.
make the motion.
It is a switch with Wilbur because you already moved him
Well,
to
he's
the
on
3rd.
Saturday now instead of Sunday on the 3rd.
He's the week before, so now you have to find out if he's available the following week.
He's always plays on the Sunday.
No, we're gonna do it Sunday, July 11th.
Yeah.
I know,
Different
but is
band.
he,
There's
is
already a
he,
different band scheduled for that time. So
he may not be
it could
available.
be.
That's right.
It could be.
That's true.
Well, we can switch. me.
Well, we can let Anita see if she can swap Wilbur with the 50s
If
doo-wop.
he does anything for her.
Anita can do anything.
All right, I have a motion for the 11th
And for the fireworks.
and fireworks extravaganza. I have a motion. I didn't hear a second.
Second.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Borowski,
Yes.
Councilman Philpott,
No,
Councilman Sawdell,
Yes.
Councilman Pinter,
Yes.
Councilman Lamb.
Yes.
Motion is approved. All right, that takes us to any other old business anybody wants to discuss.
Mr. Borowski, did you want to address the Dr. Farrell project or?
I had a brief conversation with the mayor about it. I think perhaps a conference call with the good doctor is
Okay.
appropriate to kind of get a better understanding for that most recent correspondence.
Yeah, just for the record, we're looking at some permit issues, and then with the state as far as clear lines about where that riparian grant falls
Right.
in. So we're just looking to clarify some things.
Let's get the details worked out.
In the application.
Through the conference call, then you can present the information at the next meeting, Jim. Thank you. Any other unfinished business? Old business, as it says in the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Any council member have new business they would like to discuss?
There was somebody on Facebook was mentioning about the dune grass. Just let the person know that the dune grass that was up there, it is starting to grow again and turn green, so we really don't have to fertilize it.
That's,
Someone was concerned about fertilizing the dune grass, which is probably not necessary. All right.
so that's still completely within the Army Corps contract too. I think that's for 3 years. That gets done twice
Good.
a year.
But it's
And it,
turning green already.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yes.
Okay. That, if there is no further new business, then that takes us to comments from the public, Matt. All right, we'll let those hands accumulate while we go on to council comments. Dave, anything? Jim?
I just wanted to thank the Public Works for, I asked them to take care of a few little housekeeping items down there at Well 5. A couple of the doors were delaminated and it was just looking a little shoddy, and they took care of that for the borough. And I wanted to say thank you for them publicly.
Mrs. Phil?
Yeah, just one thing. I heard late this afternoon that the governor has announced that 2 weeks from today, the 19th, anyone 16 years old or older can receive the vaccine. So he's opening it up further. I don't know how the appointments are going, but at least they have the option to try to get an appointment 2 weeks from today starting for 16-year-olds and up. That's it.
Thank you. Michael?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just a quick badge report on our preseason sale. Currently, total revenue is just north of 231,000. We've sold just over 4,000 season badges so far. So we're doing quite well because we don't have really anything to compare it to last year with that. But yeah, you want to go with last year, it was probably right around 150, 160. But again, we announced, we weren't really putting anything together at that time, and there was a lot of things up in the air. So it's really not a great comparison, but 231,000 is a nice number at this point. And we do sell the bulk of our badges, the season badges, during the preseason. So probably about 70 to 80% of it is then. So that's good. And just remind everybody, the calendars are out. There is the badge application, or the order form is in that. It's also on the website. Pickup instructions are also now on the website as well. They will be starting in May. But get your order in, take advantage of the preseason price. It's going to be a good season.
All right, thank you. Bob, anything?
Just at the shed down at the, where this is completed now, I believe they're all done down there, Bob, or down at the.
The badge sales shed?
Shed is just about completed?
no, they're about midway through right now.
Okay.
They just did the spray installation today,
Okay.
and they're going to start making it a little more functionable for the crew working inside there, a little more comfortable,
Very good.
and
Thanks.
Okay.
They did a great job. That front window is really, that's going to be helpful in the busier days. They really did a great job with that.
Oh, good. All right, Mr. Bryce, any comments?
no, sir.
Mayor, can I just make one comment
You may.
about the badges? The preseason pricing, if I remember correctly, ends at the end of May,
Yes.
which is a couple of weeks earlier than we've done in
Right.
the
It's the same
past.
time frame that we used last year as well.
We never raised the price last year.
No, we
remember?
didn't, but it was
So-
the same plan that we had in In fact, last
My-
year,
my-
May 31st.
My suggestion is that we make that deadline noticeable.
Well known.
You're right, let's advertise,
Well known.
you know,
It's
this is the
advertised
list.
on the website, it's advertised on the form.
We need to make it bigger, because most people will remember June 15th.
We'll let
As-
them know
as the
right now.
That's
May,
what we
the end of
advertised
May.
last year as well. So
Very good.
It's the second year that we've done this. We didn't do it, but we announced that we weren't increasing them later in the year. So,
Okay.
I mean, the word was out early last year.
We actually did do it 19 too. We did, on June 1st.
Okay.
For 19, we did.
All right. With that, then we do have executive session. Oh, we got a hand from the public.
Mark, you're muted.
Am I unmuted now?
There
Yes,
you
you
go.
are, sir.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, folks. Good evening, Mayor Council. Just wanted to thank you, everyone, for the work that was done for the budget. It was really appreciated. As a taxpayer, we like flat taxes. And 56 days till Memorial Day weekend. Let's go summer 21. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate your comments. Any more hands? Then, Mr. George, your disclaimer with regard to executive session, please.
Yes, Your Honor. We have a short executive session. We anticipate discussing the potential litigation with Verizon. We may or may not discuss a personnel matter as well. All of the minutes of the session will be released if and as necessary under the Open Public Meetings Act and the Open Public Records Act.
Thank you.
At this point in time, I cannot anticipate whether or not action would be taken, but the council should reserve the right to take action when the session is done.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn to executive
So
session.
moved.
All in favor? Can he call in by phone? Phil, we're going to call you by phone.
Okay, that's fine. I'll leave the meeting then. Thank you, Mayor.
We're good. Mr. George, it's you.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, during the executive session, the only matter discussed was the potential litigation with Verizon on their 5G applications, which were adopted with conditions. No action needs to be taken on the record. Note that as a result of conflict, Mr. Fincher was not participating in the executive session. All other members are now present at the meeting. No action needs to be taken at this time, and the minutes will be released if and when necessary under the Open Public Meetings Act and the Open Public Records Act.
Thank you, Mr. George. If there is no other business that we need to conduct tonight, then the appropriate motion is a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you all very much. It was a pleasure. Everybody